Toria Gate only appears after sunset. I learned this by accident. I live in a small town where nothing ever changes. There is a narrow road along the mountain that I have driven countless times. During the day, there is nothing there, just trees and an old guardrail. One night, on my way home, I saw it. A tall, unpainted Toria Gate stood beside the road, half hidden by shadows. I was certain it had never been there before. The next morning, it was gone. A week later, it appeared again. Same place, only after sunset. This time, I stopped the car. Beyond the Toria was a narrow stone path leading into the forest. No singing, no rope, no sound. I took a photo. On my phone, the Toria did not appear. An elderly neighbor later warned me never to enter it, never to walk past it, and never to look back once I had seen it. That night, curiosity won when I stepped beneath the Toria. The road behind me vanished. The forest pressed in from all sides. Footsteps matched mine, always beside me, never visible. Ahead stood a small shrine. At its entrance hung a wooden plaque. My name was carved into it. Beneath it were dozens of others. Mine was the newest. A voice whispered from behind me, "It's your turn." Primera Ra Eni. I woke on the road at dawn. The Toria was gone. On my phone was one photo. A Toria Gate at night. Dot, comma, and beneath it, someone wearing my clothes, standing with their back to the camera. I no longer drive that road after sunset. The abandoned school was never locked, but no one entered it twice. It stood at the edge of town, behind a rusted fence that had long since collapsed. The windows were broken, the paint peeled in long, curling strips. Yet for years, the building remained untouched. People said it was dangerous, unstable. But that was never the real reason they stayed away. I went inside for the first time when I was in college. I was home for the summer, bored and restless, and the school had always bothered me. I had attended classes there as a child, before it was shut down. When a new school was built, everyone simply moved on. Everyone except the building. The front doors were open. Inside, the air was stale but dry. Dust covered the floor in thick layers, undisturbed by footprints. Classrooms lined the hallway, their doors hanging open. Desks lay scattered. Blackboards still bore faint traces of chalk. Nothing felt unusual at first. Then I noticed the classroom numbers. They skipped. Room uno, room dos, room tres. Then nothing. The next door was labeled room 5. I assumed the sign for room 4 had fallen off. I stepped inside room 5. It was smaller than the others. The windows were covered with boards nailed from the inside. The desks were arranged neatly, as if class had just ended. On the blackboard, a single sentence was written. Attendance will be taken. I felt a sudden urge to leave. As I stepped back into the hallway, I realized something had changed. The hallway was longer, far longer than it should have been. The doors continued far into the distance. Their number is increasing. Room 6. Room 7. Room 8. And then, at the very end, room 4. I knew, without understanding how, that I was not supposed to enter it, but my feet carried me forward anyway. The door was closed. Unlike the others, it was clean. No. No. Rust. I opened it. Ellie. Inside was a classroom identical to the one I remembered from childhood. The desks were filled. Students sat quietly, facing forward. All of them were wearing uniforms from different decades. Some old, some new, some I recognized. Every seat was taken, except one. At the front of the room stood the teacher. His face was blurred, as if I could not focus on it. He spoke without moving his mouth. You are late. The empty seat was mine. I backed away and slammed the door shut. The hallway returned to normal instantly. Short. Short, silent, dusty. Dusty. There was no room for point. I left the building and did not return. Years later, I attended a funeral. A former classmate, gone without explanation. At the service, I saw his school photo displayed beside the altar. The uniform he wore in the picture was not from our time. It was older. Amutalima. Flimflaoluchale. Klura, the same one I had seen in that classroom. That night, I dreamed of the abandoned school. In my dream, the door to room 4 was open. My seat was no longer empty.